Did no one hear that? Can anybody hear us?
Yes, now we
Oh,
can.
good. Okay. Okay.
Good.
So start from the
yourself.
no, you have to start from the beginning because
Well,
nobody heard anything.
uh, hi, everybody. Dave Peets, resident homeowner, member of the board.
Margot Sackheim, resident homeowner, member of the board.
Elaine Hill, board member.
Dan Hill, board member, resident, Fort Lowell.
Briggs Klinko, board member.
Desiree Aranda, just a preservation officer.
Cool. Do we want folks to introduce themselves now who are?
Oh, hi, my name is Lee Shaw, and I'm principal designer at Lee Shaw Architecture, and I have a project up for review tonight. Item number 4.
Thank you, Lee. This is Jason Lowenthal, staff.
And I can't see.
Howdy, this is Jonathan Knightweiser from the City of Tucson Historic Preservation Office, and I'm joined with me by Chris Schrager, who is a historic preservation specialist, uh, focused in Adobe.
Great.
And Jasmine?
Good evening. My name is Jasmine Chan. I am with Tucson Parks and Recreation. I am the item 5 courtesy review on Fort Lowell Conwood Lane.
Yeah, I think we got everybody right.
Where's Bricky?
Oh, Bricky?
Jonathan introduced him.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome everybody. So now I think we can proceed to any discussion and approval of the minutes from our last meeting, the date of which
Number 16.
December 16th. Any,
I'll move to approve the
Yeah.
minutes of December
I'll
16th.
second it.
okay. All those in favor of the 12/16 minutes to be approved, say aye.
I
Those opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Should we do our call to the audience now? I guess it's on the agenda as such. Sometimes we defer that to the end of the meeting, but
Yeah, we didn't receive any public comments or
Okay.
requests, so I don't think we have any members of the public here currently, other than, everyone's a presenter.
okay. All right, well, let's move on then to agenda item number 4, and this is a historic review case. And this is potentially an action item. And this is yeah, so should we
David, if I could actually, well, if you could just follow that, I'd appreciate it.
okay,
That's what we
right, okay.
do.
Okay, so the first presentation we have is case number, I guess it's SD -0126-00008. And this has to do from the applicant, whose name I am not seeing here.
Lee Shaw.
Lee Shaw, thank you. Regarding the property located at 5491 East Placita del Mesquite. And what is your affiliation with the property?
Well, the owners hired me to do a kitchen remodel and dining room addition under an existing covered porch.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Are you the contractor or architect?
No, designer architect.
Gotcha.
Okay, so if you would, could you now present the application in its entirety before we have any discussion? Questions for clarification may be asked by the board members, but discussion beyond this must be held until the presentation is completed.
Okay. Okay, so I was hired by the owners to, as mentioned and in the project description. Do you want me to read the project description and the project narrative or?
Sure. Can't hurt.
Okay. Um, so the project description is the parcel is a contributing non-historic property located in a historic preservation zone, with the existing structure being shown on map Tucson as non-contributing. The existing architectural and style and character is an all adobe construction built in 2000 in a territorial revival style with hand trowel integral color stucco on all exterior walls, deep set window and door openings, exposed wood lintels, colored concrete sills and floors with a double brick parapet cap and flat roof areas and rusted corrugated metal at pitched roofed areas. The house is situated in a mesquite grove and microhabitat along Corbett Ditch, consisting of dense vegetation with limited visibility to neighboring properties screened by this vegetation. The project scope and intent was to enclose a portion of the existing covered porch structure for the proposed dining room addition to show the to allow for enlarging the existing kitchen. The intent being to construct minimal alterations to the look and appearance of the exterior as possible, keeping the character and rhythm of the existing architecture. The structure is non-contributing, located on a contributing property, and all alterations and additions shall reflect the architectural style and characteristics of the existing structure. My project solution was to enclose the new dining room with sliding door walls, offset behind the existing porch beam to provide a deeper recess from the existing porch structure, minimizing the visual alteration to the exterior and maintaining the character of being on the porch and its colored concrete floors, exposed round Viga roof beams, and wood decking ceiling, maintaining unobstructed views to the back porch and pool, and allowing as much natural light into the space as possible. The sliding doors are single light units to match the existing style of windows and doors and to match the existing sliding doors at the master bedroom. To integrate the HVAC and insulation requirements for the new dining room addition, and needs the least obtrusive solution was to install a new shallow sloped pitched roof over the existing flat porch roof, thus creating space to install supply ductwork and registers that connect to the existing supply duct in the current dining room. With the addition of the low sloped roof, it was necessary to increase a portion of the parapet height to conceal a portion of the new roof structure at the ends of the existing porch area. And this was accomplished with a stepped parapet to minimize the increase in height. With the increase in parapet height, it requires the existing chimney at the current porch fireplace to increase in height approximately 36 inches. So my, goal here was, I'm wanting to be as sensitive as possible to the architecture because I, like you, love it. And I love the sense of place and the context and the architectural character. Um, and so, and tell me if I need to enlarge any of this for you to see, but here's the area of the porch addition, or the dining room addition under the existing covered porch. And I'm going to move on to the next. And so the context, let me enlarge this. Okay, so here we are at the top on Craycroft Road. Sorry, my internet's a little slow. And here's the entrance to the development zone. Here's our subject parcel here to the right. And as you can see, it's densely vegetated. And here's the house. Here's the existing carport and the existing window that we want to turn into a door from the kitchen to the carports right here. And it's hard to see. You can't see it from the road. And I tried to take a picture from the curb to see if you could see it, but it's a 6-foot wall, so that's screened very well. And you won't see any of the addition from the street. Here's the subject parcel here from Placida del Mesquite, and then the neighboring properties on the street. Okay. And then, whoops, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, here's the neighbor of the property across the street. Here are the two properties directly behind this parcel. And this is the embankment, I guess you would say, of the Corbett ditch, or the berm at the Corbett ditch on this property. You can see the dense vegetation. This is standing at the Corbett ditch looking back to the house. And here is the existing covered porch. And the area of work roughly is right here where I'm proposing adding a sliding door unit. And here's where a pitched roof portion would be. Here's looking from that same area over to the adjacent parcel, and you don't see the neighboring residence beyond. Here we are under the existing carport. Here's the existing kitchen window that we would like to turn into a door for convenience of getting to the carport. And then there's a vegetable garden on this opposite side of the guest house over here. This is, let's see here. This is where I'm proposing raising the parapet as a bookend to the shallow pitched roof, which you won't see from this inner backyard area. Here's a proposed sliding door unit. Here's the extension of the chimney. Here's an 8-foot sliding door unit and a 12-foot sliding door unit. Here are, whoops, sorry. Forgive me. Okay, here's the existing finishes on the outside. Here's the stucco color and texture and the brick parapet cap. This is in the sun, obviously. This is in the shade. Here's the existing color of windows and doors, wood lintels, concrete sills.
Current windows, are they fiberglass or aluminum?
No, they're wood.
They're wood, okay.
Yeah. And this is the existing pitched roof over the entry. It's existing corrugated metal. And so this is the proposed metal for my proposed sloped roof over the porch. And this is the proposed color of the new sliding doors I'm proposing. So let me go to the next page.
So the doors will not match the windows and other trims?
Well, we wanted something a little bit different. I was hoping for an actual color, but I'm just trying to keep it, in the color range. Sorry. Okay, here's demolition, where we're removing the existing door to the back porch and fix side lights, removing the window and the wall below it. Okay, here's my enlarged kitchen and my dining room underneath the covered porch. And my whole idea of the covered porch is when you're on the porch, it's such a great feeling that I don't want to distract from that, nor do the clients. I want to still feel like you're out on the porch with these walls being as transparent as possible to one, allow natural light. This house is very dark and this is really the northwest elevation, so it hardly gets any sun, very little direct sunlight. And so natural light is a big factor of this proposal. And we're also adding 2 skylights in the kitchen. Here's the existing roof plan. The low slope flat roof, the carport, entry porch. These are both corrugated. Here's my proposed roof plan with the pitched roof at the porch, 2 new skylights. Here's rendering of the existing north elevation, the existing covered porch. This is the door and side lights that'll be removed. Here's where I'm showing adding the pitched corrugated metal roof, still keeping the porch feel and structure. And
Does that pitch match the corrugated on the front?
No, it's a little bit shallower. I didn't want to have to raise the parapet here. The porch on the front, I believe, is 3 and 12, and this is 2 and 12. So I was trying to keep the parapet as low as possible, and I'm adding a little step parapet here and also on this side over here to close these ends off. And here's my drawing and labeling. This is underneath. Here's the east elevation, the carport. Here's the existing kitchen window. And here's the proposed door. And at first we were wanting like a Dutch door, but I talked them more into like a door with a vent sash, with the screen there. And I'm adding mullions here, which could be there or not actually, but the inside the kitchen, the cabinets are glass doors with mullions. So I was playing off that, but that's not critical. So those are
There's another door going in, or is that the only one?
Oh, that's the only one. Besides the, front door and the door off the back porch.
Okay. And these doors when they have lights, is this going to be simulated divided light or true?
Simulated.
And will it have muntins on face of the glass or?
It'll be simulated, so it's got muntins on the face on both sides and spacer bars in between.
Okay, yeah, no, as long
So
as
it'll look
it
like
looks close to true divided light.
it's
'Cause
possible. Yeah.
when they don't have the muntins on face, it looks it's not
Stupid.
as
I'm with you.
natural.
Yeah. So, it's pretty simple and straightforward. And I was trying my best to be as minimally invasive as possible while answering all my clients' wishes and requirements.
Yeah.
And it's my goal on every project to be sensitive and caring for the architectural character and everything. And I've worked on many historic preservation projects elsewhere. And so, of course, me as the designer, I think this is a great solution, but, I'm anxious to hear what you all have to say and share.
Yeah, it's a great.
Before we get into some further discussion, I failed to invite city staff to provide any background or any other relevant information that
Yeah.
you've gathered?
Jason, I know he has some background. Jason, you want to give a quick?
Sure
synopsis?
thing. Yep. I'm just going to bring up the executive summary that we have started using. So what I was going to say in the beginning was that this is a contributing non-historic single-family residence. It was built circa 2000. The property is located in the Fort Lowell HPZ, but not in the Fort Lowell multiple property resource area. This was an area along Bosque, Sonrisa, and San Miguel that was incorporated in the mid-1990s to be part of the HPZ zone. So that's why, because it was built so fairly recently, it's a contributing non-historic. And then Leisha already went over all the proposed scope of work.
I don't know if you're trying to share your screen, but we can't see it.
Oh, I wasn't sharing. I was just reading
Okay.
up the summary. I
Okay.
can screen.
They might want to see it because it's a new, we're
Okay.
introducing an executive summary that we're just kind of putting background together.
Okay.
So I think it might be good
Yeah,
just to show, because this will be the first one we're bringing to Fort Lowell with that.
And then so HPZ board members know that this was posted on the website. It is there. So what you're seeing in front of you is on the website.
Nice.
So here we have all the information listed, activity numbers, proposed project, description, preservation standards. What we have down below is where we go through the HPC guidelines and standards. And so this is something that will be happening with all 4 review projects moving forward.
Hey,
Yeah,
Yes,
this is good. This is good.
And if you have, thoughts on it as you read them, feel free to let us know. We did have, PRS did look at the checklist, because I don't know if you recall the original checklist, they were like kind of multiple different columns, and we talked about it in this group before, kind of trying to put them together. They're repetitive, right? But trying to make sure that we encapsulate all of the different standards. So.
Thank you, Jason. I actually didn't notice the executive summary because for some reason the live link wasn't highlighted in purple, so I didn't realize that there was another document available for us to review, and this is very useful. I can see it now that you've mentioned it's on there. It just, for some reason, it didn't come out in purple for me.
Sure. Well, what I could do is let me show you the website and it'll come up. Let me find which is the right screen. Is it this one? Okay, so this is off of the website link, and you can see where we have item 2 for a staff executive summary.
Yeah, it's great. Now it's clear to me where to look for them in the future.
Now, Greg's question, did you also get the links where we have, when we get to it, I don't want to discuss it now, but did you see the links for item 5A, option A, option B? Were those available?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure that that is correct. Okay. Perfect.
Sorry to sidetrack.
Yeah, no, I apologize for not following the sequence of order here. So I guess at this point, discussion, questions?
I do have another couple of questions about the plan, if we can go back to the plan.
Lee, could you bring the plan up again?
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, let me.
Windows are so tiny, no wonder it's dark inside.
So my question is, 2 questions. One is, there are 2 sliding doors in the new kitchen, right? Is that right? Or are those is one a window?
Well, this is an 8-foot sliding door unit, and this is the operable unit. This is a 12-foot unit, and the center one's an operable unit.
Okay. And then I have a question about the parapet height too, if you go back to that.
Sure.
Proposed and existing.
Yes. Sorry.
So that new roof, the new sloped roof will almost go up to that parapet, right?
Well, I'm keeping it down low enough from experience to be able to flash and stucco.
Yeah. What's the
Mhm.
height of that parapet?
That parapet is, let me see here.
Lee, I think you have that measurement on your east. Right now you're showing north. Go down to your east elevation, and there's your measurements.
Yeah, I was looking on my plans here. It's easier for me to read. That is the top of the highest parapet, this right here. That is 15 feet above grade.
And then the new parapet, the new extension on the east
That's
side.
right here. This piece is 15 feet,
Yeah,
and then we drop down a foot, 14.
So that's what the new one is gonna look like, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
and then what's the parapet in front of that?
This right here is okay, it's the walls are 16-inch adobe. And so with the flat roof, this was just a lower parapet that the flat roof stayed under. And instead of building, and the chimney, I'm going to go back up to the north elevation. I'm going to blow this up here. Sorry, I can't see. I can't see my control. I can't see my controls with the sorry. Um, you see this parapet line right there? That's that low
Yes.
parapet. And see how the chimney offsets from that? And so when I added the new parapet, I thought I would clean it up a little. And instead of adding this whole parapet and making the chimney look weird, I don't know. I thought this was a weird condition, but you know, whatever works best for you all, I can make work. So, um, it's an odd little condition, I know, but this is the best.
Is the chimney height going to exceed that of the other chimneys?
Well, yes, just by that small part, because where this is a chimney back in the master bedroom, and that's on off a lower parapet,
Mhm.
and it doesn't exceed the highest chimney because I have to go 2 feet above this 15 foot because I'm within 10 feet radius from the chimney or 10-foot offset.
So I guess I'm still confused. Is that line, the lower line there, is that still a parapet for something, or is it just a line of bricks?
Well, it's the top of the existing parapet and a line of bricks. But if you could see here, this is where it offsets. So it is like a
Getcha.
ledge, if you will.
Okay, yeah, okay, I get
It's a
it.
little odd, I know, and I wasn't sure. Uh, I don't know. I gave it my best shot.
Do you have a concern about it, Elaine,
I
or is
was
it
just confused about
okay?
what that
Well,
was.
it is
Yeah.
confusing in the drawing. I understand.
Yeah.
I don't have any objection to it.
So can you scroll up? You had your new parapet highlighted on a photo further up, I
Yes.
think.
Oops.
Yeah, that, okay. So what the bricks we're seeing is at the same level of what's there. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, yeah. So I think my only concern was the chimney height that it's adding another.
3 feet, wasn't it 3 feet,
Yeah.
36 inches?
Well, yeah, I'm taking that up 3 feet. And I don't know if it would look better to you all if instead of stepping the parapet, if I were just to take the parapet straight across instead of stepping, because it's really this height here that's determining the chimney
Mhm.
height.
Is there a way to Yeah, I think, I mean, the variation in the elevation, I think is important. That's kind of a critical feature in a lot of homes in Fort Lowell. You know, it's a great design element that I appreciate putting it in. So when I saw this the first time, what I was wondering is, can the variation happen from that existing parapet, the existing tallest parapet, and just be flat coming out? So basically where you, instead of stepping down, it would just be at one level, the
Yeah.
lowest level of your bottom step there.
Well, the problem with the lowest levels is it's not really high enough to contain my pitched roof right behind it.
Yeah, okay.
And so I was really, it's one of those games you play. I was trying to minimize the mass, if you will. I
Yeah.
talk myself into these things like,
Yeah.
what's the best approach?
Does the chimney, the chimney has to come up that much higher? Or could it be?
Okay, so per code, the chimney has to be 2 feet higher than anything within 10 feet of it.
Oh, I see.
And so this parapet height right here is within 10 feet. That's how I came up with the step, you know, to make, it's sort of like, okay. And I'm wondering by looking at it now, I don't know. I don't know. I'm wary of lowering the slope or decreasing the slope of the roof because I'm wanting to use the corrugated to match, but you'll never see it from the backyard.
Mm.
You'll see it from these two adjacent properties, just a little bit. And if I went to standing seam, I could go lower slope and I could drop this. I could drop that. I could take the higher step off, drop it down to here and drop the chimney a foot.
I don't believe that the standing seam is a accurate roofing material for the Fort Lowell.
Well, I didn't either.
Yeah.
No, I think you had it right with the corrugated for sure.
Yeah, tasteful choice with the corrugated to match the existing materials on the home.
Does anybody else think the chimney is an issue? Okay, then I don't need to die on that hill, so.
No, I mean, I think I'm impressed with the thoughtfulness that Lee's
Yeah, this is a
invested in that
great
particular design element, and I can understand the kind of challenge of that. And it seems like a reasonable response. Yeah, a reasonable solution.
So another question I did have, just to switch it up a little, is if you could go back to your sliding doors, your any of them that would show either elevation or the overhead that would show that corner.
Here, let's see here.
So
Right here.
yeah, my understanding, I also have a question about the sliding doors, especially from referencing photo 9, which really kind of shows the corner of the property of the addition. Is it gonna be like a glass wall corner? Is that the kind of outcome?
Well, I was shooting for that. Okay, there's a neighbor across one of the properties across Corbett Ditch who did something similar to this, and she, instead of making a glass wall, made it like a stucco, form, and she has exposed adobe. And it's like it seems so heavy. And it totally, when I went and visited it with that space with the clients, and you totally lose the connection of being out on a porch, which they love the idea of, you feel like it's the indoor outdoor. And so, my first meeting with them, I just couldn't help but see this glass. I know it seems maybe odd to a lot, but I feel like for this period of house, I've done modern adobes that mix these two things and it's a great mix, but I don't know if I need to have an adobe corner like a column or something to break it up so it's not a glass corner per se, in the sense that there's a clad post right here, but
I think that was my main concern, is it looks a little
Sure.
too much like a window wall.
Yes,
yeah.
I agree with Dan, and I understand the being inclined towards like that more modern indoor outdoor feeling, but it's out of character for this historic zone.
Mhm.
You know, it's a feature of the historic homes in this zone that they are a little bit darker. And they
I
would
know.
manage of the north facing windows to manage heat and stuff in a different way, but a glass corner effect is
Even having a post
doesn't
there
seem
is kind of
appropriate for the neighborhood.
Well, what if I were to have a stucco like column there, like 16 by 16, and it matches the stucco?
Yeah, that'd be preferable.
Or a post.
Well, no,
or a big post.
that's what we're saying is he's got a post there now,
Yeah.
right?
There is.
With the
Instead of a 6 by 6 clad wood post, 16 by 16, adobe post with stucco to match. And
I don't think you'll find any of those 16 by 16 post styles.
Well, no, it look more just like the wall corner,
Yeah,
right? So
It would.
that would be preferable, I think, than having a wooden post.
And
Right.
even the floor to ceiling concept is a little bit problematic for the neighborhood as well. It's just, this is not what the thresholds look like in the Fort Lowell Historic Zone. And even the existing sliding glass door on the owner's bedroom,
mhm.
it's got these architectural features around it to soften its blow, and it seems to me from the renderings that it is a bit smaller and certainly not as tall as the new doors that are being spoken about.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do like with the corner, do something like that has the other Adobe style as with the sliding glass to the right there?
the exposed.
Yeah, exposed Adobe
Yeah,
corner.
just exposed adobe. Yeah, sure.
I think that could tie it in a little more nicely and make it fit with the house better. I don't know.
But if I need to drop the height of the doors, then what's that going to be? Is that stucco below the porch beam? It's not going to be adobe and a steel lintel, or I could do a wood false lintel with steel, but
Are those doors taller than the existing doors?
well, as you can see over here, this existing door is that 7 feet? I forget exactly, and it matches these windows. And I just took this up higher just for the clean line, really. That's all, and it's like, okay, if I need to drop this a foot, say, maybe that's just a stucco piece between a exposed adobe corner and the same on the
I think that could be better from our perspective as far
Sure.
as our guidelines go.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, have a lintel, and I mean that would make it so that those openings are more consistent with what we find in the neighborhood.
On the north facade though, you're talking about, under the porch.
Right here.
No, I think
Doesn't
under the
matter.
porch it probably doesn't like it would as you're
That might be strange.
the north facade is the one I think that we're most concerned about.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that might
Yeah.
be strange once you have two doors side by side that are different sizes. So-
Well,
Grace,
can I?
did you have something to mention?
No,
I
I'm just still trying to understand this, the under the patio glass door, which I believe when you did your presentation, you mentioned that it was even taller than the one that's north facing, the one that we can see in the elevation
This
drawing.
right here? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me, photo 9 is just a little bit easier to concept that more interior door, because
Sure.
there isn't really a drawing of it, but you can see the wall facing that it's going to go on.
Yeah, sorry. Let me get to that. My computer slowed down, or my internet connection. Let me get that.
To me, it's just a little easier to understand the way these two doors are interacting with each other because you can see really where they're going to go.
Sure.
Um,
So
Yeah.
if I'm getting this correctly, it's like I need to drop this down a foot, have an exposed adobe corner, and still and have dropped this down a foot, and that's stucco, and this is stucco, exposed adobe. If I were to do that, do I also need an exposed wood lintel? Because then it would be like, if I drop it a foot, I got 4 inches of wood lintel to match the windows and doors, and I've got 8 inches of stucco. I mean, if that's what's required, obviously I can do that.
To me, that would be more in keeping with the existing architectural character of the home. As far as I can tell here, it looks like almost all of the windows and doors seem to have that wood lintel feature in the photos.
Well, they do, but I'm looking at the porch structure as the lintel. It seems
I
like
see.
I look at it as a designer. It's like
Hmm.
if you got a beam here, why would you need another lintel there? This is holding up everything. But that's just me. That's my own little quirks. So, but if that's what it takes to get it approved, I mean, sure, I can do that.
Mm.
And the reason I went with sliding doors more than anything is so there's not these doors opening up into this small room. Honestly, it's like this allows for flow in and out so much better, a sliding door, um, than like a French door or something. And so that's really what led me. And when you're there, you're just so struck by the view, the beauty of the view from inside the house looking out. It's like, okay, we all want to see that, but I get the refinements that are needed to make the character match the existing.
I'm curious to hear the other board members' thoughts on 2 sets of sliding glass doors going in.
Well, can I add something to that then? Okay, you see how close the pool is to this? I added this. This could be like a picture window, and there's only one door. But I added this just sort of thinking about, is this more convenient going right in and out there instead of having to come around? I don't know. When you're there, this is tight,
Yeah.
you know. Um, so this could be a fixed, picture window unit if needed.
And that would be presumably like 2 side-by-side double hungs, sort of like the ones that we can see in the back of the picture.
Sure.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. And they could have a concrete sill, I get as well, I guess, if you don't want it to go to the floor, obviously. And then stucco below or adobe below, and this is adobe. I don't know. We'll see what that
But I
looks
think
like.
given that there's another sliding glass door on the north face, I personally am not too concerned about there being a door there. I don't know if anybody else has an issue, but yeah, the only tricky bit is making sure it doesn't look too much like a window wall, frankly, for me.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, and so I don't know. You were saying there's examples of other posts that have been, could we at least add dimension to that post or something, make it more substantial? Maybe make
Well,
it 12 by 12 or.
well, I think, and we were talking just shortly a while ago, is like right here adding like a 16 by 16 exposed adobe
Yeah.
post.
Well, I think that would work if you're stuccoing the top and making it, with a lintel and so forth. But like
Yeah.
you said, if you're keeping the beam there, the exposed beam that's existing, it would be weird to just kind of have some adobe beneath it. If it looks like there was a wall or it's a wall with an opening versus a porch that's been enclosed, I think that would be my preference. But if anybody else wants to weigh in, again, I don't need to die on this hill, so.
Board members and Leisha?
Something other than a corner.
Yeah, I
exposed
agree
corner
with that,
windows.
yeah.
Because I think even our design guidelines say that, even the old ones say that it's not appropriate to have 2 corner windows
Yeah.
right against each other.
Sure.
So you would want something there, even if it's a substantial pillar, right?
Mhm.
In which case, I think any way you shake it, if that's not a timber pillar, then it has to
Probably
be
stucco,
stucco. It
yeah.
either has to be exposed adobe and with stucco and a lintel over the sliding glass, or stuccoed adobe with stucco and a lintel over sliding glass. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
either way you shake it, I think you got a stucco above the door.
Mhm.
I think from my,
Board members,
Oh.
if I could just jump in real quick.
Sure.
When
Sure.
you're talking about the
Please do.
windows, when you make the recommendation, be sure that you are being specific. Either you go for a picture window or double hung. Those are two different types of windows. Picture
Yeah.
windows are usually
Yeah.
fixed. And when you're talking about, you don't want it to be too big like a wall curtain. If you go for those, it would be good that if you gave reasonable dimensions, because a picture window could be the entire horizontal. So I just want to bring that up for you guys to consider when you make the recommendation soon.
Right.
yeah, I think from my perspective, I'm looking at double hung windows in photo 9, and
Sure.
like if more windows were going to be put onto this elevation of the house, that it would make sense for them to match the existing, I guess that's the living room, also grabbing
Yes.
that good
Yeah.
view.
That's right.
Yeah. From my perspective, I think it's better to minimize the presence of sliding glass doors, and having the one that's kind of concealed in the interior patio space works more and still gets some of that indoor outdoor flow that everybody wants. And having side by side double hung windows that match the existing windows would be an appropriate solution for the other wall. If it's not paramount to have the two sets of sliding doors, especially as we're talking about the solarium look kind of going away in favor
Sure.
of this more territorial adobe style of the existing house and the neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah.
For me and to the other board members, that would be my recommendation in approving these plans. That's kind of the direction that I think is most appropriate, having kind of chatted through some of the other design elements that are getting highlighted, like this really nice, the lentil beam of the patio is, a substantial wood structure that's gonna get highlighted in the final product as well.
But I think you can see that lintel, or you can see that extension of that lintel to the east, right? Is that what?
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the beam, yes, continues through
It's east.
in front of the chimney.
Yeah, you can continue that just like.
Yeah. So it's
just right
mimicking
above
that.
window,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And then the other issue I have with a pillar is that you've got a carved post right next to it, which is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
And so my opinion would be is that the idea of doing big double hung windows is preferable, and then doing the sliding door interior to the porch.
Well, then maybe instead of like a 16 by 16 exposed adobe post there at the corner, it's a stucco
Corner,
return,
yeah,
and so we have minimal glass, minimal glass here, like 2 double hungs here with the wood lintel, right? And concrete sill. So this is all stucco, and then we return the stucco,
Yeah.
12,
Yeah.
18 inches, something like that. I don't know exactly, but and then the sliding door in there, and then there's stucco above and a wood
I think that
lintel.
would certainly solve a lot of problems.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from our perspective.
Yeah.
And even if they wanted to add a third window going into the existing patio wrap, because I do understand the desire to bring in those mountain views and bring in the light. So I would be open to that as a way to get more light in that on that side in that room.
What now? I didn't understand.
You're
Adding a
suggesting
double
adding an additional window, Briggs?
Yes,
Would
an
be a way to get
additional
more light?
window that went into the existing patio wrap wall, like
Oh,
if
the back
homeowners
wall?
are concerned about light coming into the room and losing quite a bit of light exposure because of the door being taken away, there could be 3 windows there, just like there are for the living room. If you went into that other wall, I would be okay with that because I do understand wanting to look at the Catalinas and have a nice bright room.
Well, there's no views from here, to be honest. It's all trees.
Oh,
Not that there couldn't be more light. We talked about a window, but they're not really interested in that. On this back side, it's kind of hard to tell, but they have this, the lattice work here and vines, and they want all this to be vines.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, it is what
Another
it
thing
is.
to consider, I think some other residences in this development have done skylights in their patios, in their porches.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so
it sounds like
Ready to
we've
move
got
on?
a set
Yeah,
of
so
recommendations.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're stuck. Sorry.
I'd
Okay,
be,
thank you, Lee. So we
Thank you.
are, I'm sorry?
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
I appreciate this.
So if you, as I understand, the proceedings here, you're welcome to to sit in on the board's deliberations and discussion. Although if you do choose to remain with us, we'll ask you to you
Mute.
may have the impulse to pipe in, but we'll ask you we'll ask you explicitly
right.
if you might for some contributions. But so yeah,
Okay.
discussion among the board.
Well,
members.
I'm here, so I'd love to hear it, of course, but I will
Sure.
mute myself.
So, well, I just want to reiterate, this is a great presentation.
Yeah,
Both
no,
of these are really, well
Indeed.
thought out and sensitive presentation.
Yep.
I think more or less we've come to a consensus on double hung windows on the north elevation being a
Mhm.
suggestion.
Mhm.
And
and having kind of that Adobe stucco wrap feature for the corner.
so then corner will be,
Okay.
and do we want that to be stucco? Corner will be stucco wrap. And do we want to specify how far back that should go? How far until the door? Like, does it need
12
from the corner?
At least
12
12
inches.
inches. You're talking 12 to 16, something like that. But yeah, at least 12.
Oh. Corner.
That's like a foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do we want to specify anything with the sliding glass door that faces the inside of the porch?
I don't recall any suggestions
Does that need to be,
I think you're gonna still have a lintel, right? And
that's the question. I think
It has to.
I think we have to ensure that it has a lintel
Mhm.
and stucco wall above it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
And just also that the windows should match the existing double hung windows that like the living room has. Double or single hung.
are you talking that's on the porch now?
Right.
Yeah, the
To
other,
the west.
the other,
So those are picture windows, if I'm not mistaken, aren't they?
No, there's.
Or are they?
No, they're double hung.
Oh, they're okay. Yeah, it's hard to see them. Yeah.
Put your glasses on.
Yeah, right. Okay.
and
No, yeah, as long as they match those, I think that would be the key.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't
Dan,
really have a problem with the interior sliding door being bigger than the other door. I think
Mhm.
that's-
Yeah, the size of the door is not too, I think it's just having, as long as it's low enough that it has stucco and a lintel above it. Yeah, no other specification.
Okay.
North elevation to match others with lintel. And then do we want to, I don't know that there was anything to be said about the,
Right in the chimney.
well, no, the other door that's going in.
The front,
The-
right, the kitchen.
Oh, the
Kitchen,
Kitchen.
kitchen. Yeah, the only other opening that's changing is what I was, yeah. I think as long as it has muttons on the face and it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, it looks great.
Okay.
should we specify that we encourage the use of the muttons because Yeah, I
Sure,
remember
why
Lee
not?
mentioning it was kind of incidental, but the divided panes, I think, would be ideal.
Yeah. All the lighted lights, demonstrations. Should have muntins on face.
Actually, the north elevation, the existing north elevation shows the elevation itself, not the photo, shows the size of the window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great. Oh, that is one thing. So there'll be double hung windows that are separated by a mullion, or two double hung windows separated by a chunk of stucco wall. That's a determination I think that needs to be made. The ones there are separated by mullions.
Lee is showing us the.
Yeah.
I think that side by side is completely appropriate, especially since there's three in a row nearby.
So just match it exactly how it is.
I think in line with your goal to be maximizing the light.
Mm,
Yeah. Okay.
mm,
I'm happy with that.
okay. Anything else? So I think, Dan, you have the most precise rendering of our recommendations. And so would
Sure.
you like to make a motion?
Can try it. Just let me know if I forgot. So I move that we what is the
Approve with conditions?
approve with the approve with the recommend approval
Mhm.
with the conditions that the north elevation, the sliding glass door is changed to double hung windows to match those found underneath the porch, the existing porch. This would be two side by side double hung windows separated by a mullion, and a stucco wrap around the corner as opposed to a post that will recede 12 inches from the corner due south. And the windows should also have a lintel above them with stucco above the lintel to match the other elements of the structure.
As well as the sliding door.
Yeah, and the sliding door, so too, should have a lintel and stucco above it. The one that's under the porch. Any other divided light demonstrations should have muntins on the face of the glass, not just between the panes, but actually on the exterior, to mimic true divided light. And I think, is that all? Did I get everything?
Do you need anything about the cement sill on the windows or not?
Can't hurt. To match the other double hung windows, a concrete sill is advised, as the presenter suggested. And I think that does it for that opening. And then I don't know. I think we are suggesting to accept the parapet and the chimney as is, as presented. It's, and I think that's it.
Did you include that the post should extend for 12 plus inches?
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah, from the corner due
Yeah,
south.
we got that. Desiree, were you able to capture
And
all
you'll
that?
have the recording in the transcript.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect.
Second.
Second, discussion, any further discussion? Okay. Should we call the vote? So all of those in favor of stated motion, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Any nays? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
David Peets, this is Jason.
Yeah,
I have two things. Who seconded?
Elaine,
Elaine.
Thank you. And Dan Hill, would you
Yes.
kindly please, it sounds like you're writing down these conditions. You have my email address when I send the link to the meeting agenda. Could
Yes.
you write that down and email that to me, please?
Sure.
Since this is quite extensive and I want to make sure I capture the language right. Thank you.
So much, Lee. This was a really quality
Yeah,
presentation and
really
very
well
thoughtful
done.
design.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate this. It was a pleasure being here with all of you. I appreciate the time you put into it. Yeah, it was really. I
Sure,
loved
okay,
this.
we'll take it.
Well, I mean, I need
No,
feedback,
I know, of course.
It's cool. So I really do appreciate this.
Very good.
Thank you
Thanks again,
Really
Lee.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Okay, moving on our agenda to item number 5, which is a courtesy review of the Fort Lowell Cottonwood Lane. And the applicant seeks a courtesy review on 2 options for cottonwood tree planting locations on the Adkins parcel in historic Fort Lowell Park. Plantings will be along similar alignment, but not same original locations. The Fort Lowell Historical Zone Advisory Board may provide comments on the proposal. So who do we have? Is it Jonathan?
Yes, Johnny and all. I think this is his first time here meeting with you all at Fort Lowell. So he's been here about 6 months now. He's our cultural resources project manager. So he can introduce himself too, but he's a resident archaeologist and also is helping us, kind of work with our other city departments more on the compliance side. So he'll be working as our liaison to Parks and Recreation. So that's why he's here.
Good.
I'll turn it over to him.
Great.
Yeah. Howdy. My name is Jonathan Weiser. I also go by Johnny. As Desiree said, I'm the cultural resource manager at the city of Tucson and archaeologist by training. I also have some historic preservation experience with the Forest Service. And so this kind of courtesy review is related to Fort Lowell Park, and it is on the Atkins, mostly on the Atkins parcel, and there's a little bit to the outside the parcel, but I'll turn it over to her. But it's basically involving planting cottonwood trees along the alignment of Cottonwood Lane, and she'll have more information on the nuances of it.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Johnny, and thank you to the Fort Lowell Historic Zone Advisory Board for having me this evening. Desiree, are you the host? I'm gonna need to share my
I'm
screen.
making you co-host right now, so you should be
Okay, thank you. All right, so this is kind of the second iteration of cottonwood planting that happened last spring. And I was before you at that point with a courtesy review for the east side of Cottonwood Lane. And now, per request from Damian Klinko, we're working on the west Cottonwood Lane side of all of this. Let's see. Okay, screen share is available to me, so I'll just make sure we're all looking at the same space. So this is an aerial of Fort Lowell Park. We've got the east side of Conwood Lane. If you can see my cursor, is on this side of on the east side of Craycroft. So that's what I mean when I say east Cottonwood Lane. And then west Cottonwood Lane is on the west side of Craycroft and would be to the north of the ghosted officers' quarters. I did reach out to, Poster Myrto McDonald, since they had put together kind of the plans for doing the ghosted structures and also this wrought iron fence line that is there, just to kind of see what they had for tree spacing. And what they have on their plans is not what was installed. So what's on site are 10 tree wells, and their plan only has 8 in it. So I've moved away from what was in their plan set, and we measured on site the distance between the tree wells, and that's 30 feet distance between kind of on center. And then in working with Damien on kind of what the spacing looks like, he measured the distance between the cottonwoods on the east side of Craycroft, and those are spaced at 20 feet. So one kind of thing we're exploring is how do we approach kind of that similarity on the west side of Craycroft, while also not moving that southern line from where the tree wells are at the 30-foot distance from one another. So we do have 2 planting plans before you. One is a 39 tree alignment, and one is a 35 tree alignment. And I just, both of them start with a similar front page where it shows you kind of the geometries of what we're seeing on site. And then the second page shows where those trees would be placed. So in the 39 tree alignment we have on the southern row of West Cottonwood Lane, we have 10 cottonwood trees, and those are where those tree wells are located, slightly offset, so we're not constantly trimming these trees so they're not running into the wrought iron fence line, but maybe a foot or so. And then 20 feet offset from that southernmost edge is the northern row of West Cottonwood Lane, and that's at a 20-foot spacing in this this version. And then all of the cottonwood trees that are defining the western boundary of the parade grounds are also at that 20-foot apart cadence. So that brings us to 39 trees. The 35 tree alignment, the difference is that the northern row of Cottonwood Lane is placed at 30 feet distance, but offset from the southern row of cottonwood trees to visually provide that density of tree canopy and trees themselves without having the kind of 20-foot spacing that the the 39, the first one that I shared, includes. And then it has 20-foot distance between all of the trees marking that western boundary of the parade grounds. I do also want to share, oh, was there a question?
Yeah, sorry, could you repeat that? So this iteration has both rows, north and south, at 25 feet or 30 feet?
Yeah, so the 35 tree version has both rows of the West Cottonwood Lane, so this is traveling east-west at 30 feet apart for each tree, and the width of the walking lane is 20 feet.
And how wide is the walking lane on the other side of the road across Great
On
Rock?
the other side of the road, I'm trying to remember what I measured.
It looks a lot wider just based.
It is very wide.
Yeah.
I think it was around 40 feet.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have that version of the plan. With the notation on there. The 30 feet. I had it at 30 feet. So I was saying, okay, if this side matches the other side, then it would be 30 feet roughly between the centers of the trees on the west side. And then I did also want to share on the east side of Craycroft, there are 4 of the new cottonwood trees that went in last year that did not make it, and so we will be pulling those out and putting in new trees. There are 2 that are still alive, struggling, so we're going to have some minor earthwork done to make sure that water is getting to where those trees want it the most. And then we are also looking at adding the 2 cottonwood trees that are in front of the museum. I think part of the kind of question here for discussion would be kind of what if there's thoughts around the 30-foot versus 20-foot tree distances.
Why is it 20 feet between the rows instead of 30 feet between the rows?
That is a good question. Let's see if I can get that if I found that from here. So if I look at the plans that had been provided or were kind of what PMM had worked on, I think I landed around that 20-foot distance.
That says 15 there.
But that's not tree center on tree center. Yeah. That's kind of the width of the pathway, but not the distance between the trees. Let's see.
Is there a reason it can't be the same as the east side of the road? That's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering.
You brought up a very good point there, Dan, when you asked about the width on the east side. Why didn't they mimic that on the west?
I don't have a good answer for that, unfortunately. I do think the idea to move from the 30-foot spacing of between the trees to a 20-foot spacing was for kind of consistency with the east side and also that kind of close feeling, you know, among the trees. So reducing that distance kind of made a lot of sense to me. So that's kind of what I went with.
But to maintain the width of Cottonwood Lane, as it were, you know, if you kind of imagine it without Craycroft there, it looks kind of silly to me to have it step down to 20 feet from 30. So we're just wondering if there's if there's a reason why the lane itself narrows on the west side.
I think when it was replanted in the 60s, right? And I think when they replanted aligned with that, the museum, where the museum is there. So it's not the historic alignment anyway.
But they're keeping that line down there. It's just the other side of the trees are not aligned with the north
I
side.
understand, yeah.
You had,
Does it matter?
Well,
From a historic perspective, does it need to be?
Well, historically, you'd wanna plan them where they originally were instead of aligning it with where they planted in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah,
But the reality is, the ones that are there.
right. That's my point, I think.
Yeah.
Is it better to mimic what ought to be or what is?
And if you're trying to just create a shaded walkway, or if you're trying to match what's on the other side.
well, I'd be curious to know about the historic width because I'm just, you know, Fort Lowell hosts reenactments and cavalry marches and whatnot, and whether having a lane that's wide enough to accommodate certain types of reenactment events matters in the big picture. I'm a little bit curious about the trees being staggered as opposed to 2x2 rows. Or they're very much the effect of walking down Cottonwood Lane is side by side trees as you walk down it, and the renderings both show staggerings. So I'm just curious to know if that's being informed by something or if it was just a design choice.
Yeah.
What do you mean staggered?
So
There's
it's,
2 rows.
instead of them being one right across from.
Oh, I see. Oh, so they kind of, okay.
This
sort
one,
of
there's more
zigzag.
trees on the
Ah,
north
there we
side and the
go.
south.
Yeah, making a zigzag.
I
And
gotcha.
the other one, they were evenly spaced, but they were, you know, more of a perfect zigzag.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
So, kind of in receiving the feedback about the 20-foot spacing on the east side of Craycroft, we had a request to make all of the trees on the west side of Craycroft at that 20-foot interval. The challenge with that, especially along this wrought iron fence, is that means we have to push out the southern edge of the tree line at least 5 feet from the from the fence line itself. And there is a lot of archaeology that remains on this site, and kind of deviating significantly from where this line is, we believe will negatively impact the archaeology that's still there.
Actually, Jasmine, now that you bring that up, could that be part of the reason why the lane is narrower on the west side?
So I did not receive the maps of where like previous sites have been found, so I am not familiar with what
That would
that
actually be really
kind of
good to know.
historical distance is.
Yeah. If we could see an overlay of like, the dig, where everything was when it was excavated, right? So if there's any pit houses or any other, features that we'd be running into, right? If you did say make it as wide as the east side, right? It'd just be something that'd be good information to have.
Yeah, and I don't currently have that information. I only saw it on a piece of paper in person. Um, but to kind of continue as to why this proposal doesn't match, it was to have then the north row match the 20-foot spacing, which then means basically every other southern row cottonwood would line up exactly with one on the north side. And then this idea was to kind of have the same spacing but offset it a little bit so that maybe you have kind of a visual sense of density among there without having that 20-foot interval. That was one of the rationale behind both of these.
Okay, there's been a sort of concept that at some point, because is there a pedestrian crossing going in?
Correct. It already exists. Yeah,
That
there's a
there-
pedestrian crossing right here.
That there would also potentially be an island that had two cottonwoods as well to kind of bring that through sense of this lane crossing Craycroft. I'm wondering if there's been any consideration for that, or if it's still kind of an idea out in just a concept that's been floated.
I am not aware of any kind of further discussions on advancing the cottonwood trees in the right of way. That would be a discussion with transportation and mobility.
Okay. And also anything to bring the cottonwoods further up to the edge of Craycroft for that, kind of road narrowing effect by way of having large trees to kind of increase safety at the pedestrian crossing.
At this point, where our plans kind of terminate where that easternmost tree well is located.
They're not going to take it closer to the creek.
Correct.
And there are trees there, they're just mesquite trees. Or, where it is.
Is there any plan to do anything with the trees that are there? Those aren't gonna be touched, right?
We like non-cottonwoods, like all the trees that are existing on site.
Yeah, you're not gonna remove the mesquites or anything that are abutting Craycroft, are you?
We are not planning to, no. And
Okay.
the alignment of this north-south boundary of cottonwood trees also is offset from the mesquites that are currently on site. So we would not be removing the mesquite trees.
That's great, yeah. So you mentioned that if you were to do the 20-foot spacing, you'd have to come out from that fence 5 feet. Why is that?
So because this fence line is like fence line plus a tree well, and we were already offsetting off the tree well location,
Yeah.
what we don't want to do is to spend the life of the cottonwood tree continually trimming it so that it doesn't impact itself onto the wrought iron fence. So having that offset, that 5-foot offset, then helps with kind of future tree maintenance. And kind of protects the longevity of the tree and the fence line.
How are the ones with a 30-foot spacing not gonna impose on the fence now?
Yeah, so those are still, so there's maybe this is a good, so there's the tree well that
yes,
kind of makes a radius that indents to the south of the fence line.
Right.
And we would be planting the tree kind of outward from that anyway. It wouldn't be directly at that center point. So we are still offsetting from that fence line, but it would not be as significant as going, 5 feet in.
But
So those tree wells would actually be bigger than the fence profile.
Extend beyond
right?
the-
Yeah, we
So,
stand south of.
so if you only have a 20-foot span between those trees, then your tree wells are gonna be, they're gonna encroach on your pathway too.
You're saying for the width of the pathways?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Jasmine, can you show is the fence line that dark kind of area?
Yes, down here. This is what looks really blurry in here. Let's see if,
Yeah, we can
no, that's not any clearer.
You don't have a photo?
I don't have a photo from on site of it that's readily available. Let me see if I can switch this to sharing something else. Okay, let me pull up an aerial. Actually, back Tucson is probably better for this.
So Jonathan, night downloading, I'm assuming. We have to.
Do you see a map on your screen?
No, there wasn't, there was.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So we are here. So this is what that fence line looks like.
So you're saying you're gonna be 5 feet beyond that.
Well, if it was 20-foot spacing, they have to go 5 feet to the north with the first row.
Yeah.
And with the 30, that these little cut-ins are spaced at 30 feet. So that's why she has it designed that way. So it's like the question becomes, if we say, oh, it should be 20 feet, what about these little cut-ins and look kind of ridiculous to have.
Oh, so those cut-ins, as you describe it, those
Yeah.
correspond with the tree.
Yeah, so then you have the the trunk would be.
Okay, got it.
and then the entrance is actually, unless the gate's moved, see where the crosswalk is? So the crosswalk comes up to almost up to where that fence line is.
Which we
So
work
you
out
wanna
pretty
have
well.
the entrance
Yeah.
there. Instead of where it is too.
No, I think you've got to use a 30-foot spacing unless you want to redo the fence.
Is there any reason not to, well, what are you asking us to do? Just advise or make a recommendation?
Well, as a courtesy, right?
Yeah.
So I guess.
Yeah, I think it's, what are your thoughts on this kind of staggered 30-foot, 30-foot spacing versus the 30-foot and then 20-foot spacing for the West Cottonwood Lane itself?
Is there a reason that it has to be staggered? Could it be that it's spaced the same on both north and south, but directly
Yes.
across?
That is also an option.
I think Briggs, that was your comment, right?
Yeah, for me, even though I would love 5 extra trees, I think that the resource that we're trying to recreate here is this orderly side by side 2 rows. And so, I just went and Googled the size of a cottonwood canopy. Theoretically, when these are mature trees, it's going to be providing that density even when they're doing 2 by 2 instead of a staggered. And it seems to me that 2 by 2 is it's more accurate to the experience of the park that's already happening on the Fort Lowell Park side. And having a bunch of extra trees on one side of the lane is a little bit disorderly relative to the historic resource that we're recreating here. So I prefer the staggered version where it's this equal distance on both sides. However, I would prefer for it to be unstaggered. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just one board member's opinion.
So does anybody else have any other comments about this? I just want to sum up a few of the things we said.
I do, when I looked at the 2 plans, it looked like the alignment of the north-south trees are different, like in the alignment, it looks like one goes closer to the Atkins house. Or are they identical in places?
They're not identical. And part of that is to align the north-south like edge with this last tree. Right, so in the staggered version of the 30-foot spacing, that final tree is further east than in this version where you have the 20-foot spacing because you're in direct alignment with that second to the west cottonwood tree.
So the goal is to outline the west boundary of the parade ground with that, yeah?
Correct.
So do we have, can you show us the actual west boundary of the parade ground as it was historically?
The best I can do is show you what we have in the master plan. As I said, the document that has kind of prior archaeology work that's been done. I am not, I don't have access to that. But this is kind of the rendering that was provided that shows, what was that western boundary.
There are the mid-Craycroft trees too.
Yes.
There you go.
And a lovely planted median.
So that's different than the proposed, because right now that west boundary looks like it hits right in the middle of the commissary, right?
Can you go back to your drawing in the proposal?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this
that.
one is the 35 tree. This one is, whoa, that's zoomed in. The 39 tree. And yeah, so this one is,
Triangulate off that gate or something.
Well, I mean, I think that it should align as closely as possible with the historical line.
Yes.
And create as much of a space, public space as we can. Also, that where that entrance is at the commissary between where the gate is now, it goes back to the back of the commissary. It'd be great if it aligned with that.
You're saying
Where's the gate? What are we talking about?
Well, see how it aligns there on that drawing? See, here it aligns with
Yeah,
that gate, right? On the other one, it doesn't, it sort of hits in the middle. It's closer to the
It's like on
edge.
the edge, you're saying it's on the edge, it aligns with the edge of the
Yeah.
gate
yeah, this one's like you said, right?
in the center.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
and this can also shift, right? I was doing this one based off of making that right angle
Right.
on that southwest corner very prominent by going off of that final tree on the west side of Craycroft. But of course this can change, and we can, if this is the staggered 30-foot is preferred, then I can also just either move this back or, this first tree back to align with.
As far as it being useful, to actually walk along that tree line to the north to the commissary complex and without disrupting any of the existing vegetation.
Yeah,
That
so
should
as
kind of
far
go
as
by
far west
the-
as we can get it, and as long as it's as close to the historic boundary too. So if it deviates from the historic boundary, that might have.
Yeah, and then you've also got the rubble of the guardhouse over there somewhere.
Yeah,
So you can see
up
it
on
from-
this side.
I think it was right. Where she
Cause
was.
I could see it close to those mesquite trees.
And then what's the consideration for the archaeology?
There will be an archaeological monitor on site for all ground disturbing work as required for any work in Fort Lowell Park.
Yeah, I guess my question is, does the plan change if you come across something important like a pit house?
That I would look to Johnny for an answer on that one.
Yeah. So, this monitoring plan where we would use like the City of Tucson monitoring discovery plan. And yes, if archaeological material was found during monitoring, then we would need to adjust and it could be like that, the monitor would do some excavation. However, I think it really depends on what is found and kind of thing. And so, we don't know until we know, but we ha with all the other previous work done, I feel like monitoring is the most appropriate path forward. And yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have that report, right? We have the report of the 13 pit houses that were found.
Yes.
So I think,
Yes.
what maybe, unless we have other things to discuss, what may be good is to kind of summarize some of these points, because it's getting late. I think we have one other presentation. And so does anybody else have something that wasn't brought up already? So what I've written down so
It
far is,
would be awesome to bring the trees as close to Craycroft as possible.
okay.
And as close to Fort Lowell.
On both sides of Craycroft, yes, and Fort Lowell. With the intention of helping to have that traffic slowing effect near the park, and especially the pedestrian crossings.
Okay. Okay, so not that we can make a formal recommendation, but I guess this is just to recapitulate our suggestions. First and foremost, what does the archaeology look like from both the previous
The
dig,
brown
right?
pit,
Yeah, and you know, what are the potential problems of extant artifacts or structures that were there that could be limiting as far as how this gets planted? You know, that's something I think we'd like to see. Second thing is the lane should be the same width as the east side. So the west lane, we'd prefer it if it was identical to that on the west side. So the trees should be spaced such that it's a continuation of the rows. Trees should be spaced symmetrically, such that there's a 2x2 configuration instead of a staggered configuration. So, as if there's a tree, the trees should be aligned so that there's 2 trees perpendicular to the lane itself, as opposed to staggered asymmetrically or in a zigzag.
Or matching the configuration on
Yeah.
the east side of the park.
Exactly, yeah. The north-south row of trees should align with the historic boundary of the parade grounds, while attempting to optimize the available space. So getting it as far west as possible, but still matching that boundary and being as close to it as possible. If that makes sense. And then finally, the trees that are closest to Fort Lowell and to Craycroft should be as put further toward those streets, so as to better, how would you say that?
Well, I'd say that so that it's visible from. It's
So that they're
apparent
visible from the surface streets.
that is the configuration
Yeah.
of trees.
So where the trees start.
Yeah, I think we asked for that originally with the planting that
different.
happened last year too, is to try to put them closer.
Actually, I think if it has the same width, the lane, then that tree that's closest to Craycroft will automatically come even closer just based on the angle. So that'll help. And then if we could have that last tree toward Fort Lowell, maybe even just, by increasing the spacing of the north-south row to 21 feet or something, automatically that would put that final cottonwood almost on Fort Lowell. So it would help to have that visual feature be more striking from the street.
This is the east side, 30 feet. Yeah.
You're saying on this side,
Yeah.
those she said were 20 feet. Are you saying this spacing or this spacing?
That spacing.
The width of the lane is 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
So
you're
that's-
asking to have.
We want it to be a continuation
Yeah.
of both, from east to west.
Yeah, you're right.
30,
You do
yeah.
that, then that tree is very close
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Craycroft.
Yeah. Okay, Jasmine, Desiree, is it anything you would like repeated, clarified? In terms of our
Nope, I
feedback?
have
Okay,
notes.
thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Jasmine. That was very helpful. Okay, our last agenda item, well, it's not the last, but towards the end here is Johnny, I think you are going to provide us with some additional information on the Fort Lowell Day Adobe demonstration and repair.
Yes. Yeah. So, as I introduced myself, I'm Johnny Knightenweiser, and I'm an archaeologist by training and with historic preservation experience. And also on the call is Chris Schrager, who is an Adobe master, if I say so myself. He works for the Forest Service, but he will be volunteering his time, and he has done lots of Adobe preservation work. Uh, Pretty much if there's an adobe structure on public land in southern Arizona, there's a very good chance that Chris has worked on it. He's worked a lot of work on Kentucky Camp on the Coronado National Forest, Terranate, Tumacacori, Alto Post Office, uh, Valley of the Moon, lots and lots of Adobe structures. And so really pleased to like have his assistance in this. And so basically what we're planning to do is I'm gonna just pull up my notes here, is basically during Fort Lowell Day at the post off at the hospital focused on some Adobe preservation activities, or as like we like to say, playing with mud. So we are, with the help of Parks and Rec, we will have a load of fill dirt from church bin sand and gravel delivered. The dirt will be double screen fill. And then Adobe preservation tools, basically trowels, buckets, brushes, wheelbarrows, and tarps will be provided. And we will basically mix Adobe mud right on site in order to fix some basal coving of some exposed walls around the hospital. And I'm sure y'all are very familiar with this. We will be focusing on the exposed walls that are outside of that Ramada that the Boy Scouts built in the 60s, I believe. So the walls that are most exposed to the elements. And this activity is pretty user friendly. It does, we wouldn't want anyone, doing this on their own. However, with the help of, myself and Chris, we feel comfortable that we can help members of the public, do hands-on activities. Chris, again, is a Secretary of Interior qualified for historic preservation activities. And yeah, and so other things are there are some amended or there are some Adobe bricks on site, and it's possible like that with Chris's help, we can also use those to address some basal coving. And so if y'all are familiar with the concept of basal coving, it is where kind of you have an adobe wall and moisture gets sucked up from the ground from like rain or whatever, and then the base of the wall kind of sloughs off. And so, yeah, if you can look, you have walls that are, a little bit top heavy. And so by kind of applying more fabric to the base of it, it helps prevent the wall from eventually crumbling. And yeah, this is proposed to be from around 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I've already started the conversation with the Presidio Museum folks and kind of working with, we'll be working with them to make sure that this aligns with the programming. And this is the kind of activity where, you know, it's fun to watch. It's fun to, join in. And ultimately this is going to be educational and it's going to help preserve some of the historic fabric at Fort Lowell Park.
Mhm. Cool, very cool. Yeah, we appreciate that, and it's a nice extension of the character and the identity of the historical zone.
So
So
Jonathan, can I ask just because I'm curious, where did you source the mud and the clay and all this? Is it on site or is it just bricks that are pre-made or?
So the bricks on site are from previous Adobe preservation activities that have been conducted there. I'm not quite sure where those have come from. And then we've chosen Churchman sand and gravel because Chris has had good experience working with them in providing fill dirt for other Adobe preservations in other Adobe preservation activities in town. But realistically, dirt can come from any number of places, but you know, we can't quarry for our dirt, in kind of natural environments because then we would need, environmental clearance kind of thing. And so we really need to go through an approved vendor in order, to 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 get it efficiently kind of thing.
mm.
What if the army did that? When they built it?
Probably not, huh? All right.
We'll talk about, I've been working with, Amy and Kate at Presidio about Fort Lowell Day, because it's a collaboration between, it's actually a collaboration between our historic board, the neighborhood association and the museum, and the Presidio Museum, right, or the Fort Lowell Museum. And we met last week and we talked about having restoration and preservation as the theme of this Fort Lowell Day. So we were hoping to actually have that activity underway, as well as be able to show some of the restoration that was done at the commissary and tie in the preservation of the cottonwoods, Cottonwood Lane. Although I don't know where we'll be in that project, but we can at least talk about it and do some kind of a presentation. So we'd like to work really closely with you guys. And Kate's great, Kate and the museum staff's really good with that, but we'll
Yeah.
also publicize it to our neighborhood and through our emails and Instagram and all kinds of stuff. So if
For
we can
sure.
start developing some of those materials sooner than later, it'd be great. Then we're really
Okay.
gonna get participation.
Yeah.
And I did go
Yeah.
back to Jasmine and asked her and Amy, and we both asked with Greg Jackson to please consider asking the contractor if we can open any part of the commissary and the Donaldson House that day. Because it's planned, the date's already set, we're gonna start doing publicity. So we'll see what they
What's the
say,
dating?
March 28th. Yeah.
Also, Elaine, there's the stable structure that's down on our property on Craycroft.
Yeah, you've got
And
the
there had
breakfast shop
previously
and-
been a community Adobe restoration, and now
Yeah.
that's sort of starting to get ready to be needing attention again, but
Yeah, I
kind
think
of
we can tie that
understanding.
in.
these
There's so many
structures
things it's really a real opportunity to get people excited about Fort Lowell again.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and you can think about that other structure that's down off of Craycroft, too, that you can access through the Fort Lowell driveway. It's interesting to understand these Adobe walls as constantly needing maintenance. They're just always in a state of decay and they need a continuous caring. There's also the ones that are down on Craycroft that are almost completely eroded away. Kind of a case study of what happens if they don't get maintenance.
So I'd like to be in touch with you, Jonathan.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. This is definitely want this to be collaborative. And I think like something like it's not really a concern of mine, but something I'm very mindful of is, number one is safety. If we can't work safe, then, we shouldn't work. And so, I am mindful of the sun. Late March is going to be intense. And so, we just need to really keep that in mind. And then, another thing is like this is a very user-friendly activity, but it's also like there is like a limit for capacity. And so I think just like in kind of how we advertise this, you know, recognizing like that we can only like there's there will be a limit for like how many people can work safely in that area kind of thing. And so I think, more discussions with you about how we make that, fun and safe for everyone.
Yeah, it may be more of people observing than participating.
Yeah,
You get a number of participants. Yeah, so I'll be in touch with you about it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I
Oh,
can
by the way,
ask.
I'm the one that's putting in the special event permit for that.
Okay,
So we'll
yeah.
have to tell Parks about all that.
Yeah. And Chris is on the call. Chris, is there anything that you'd like to tell the group uh while we have you here?
I sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. Um, I wanted to let the group know this actually came about for many years. I volunteered at Fort Lowell Day doing a little activity with the Park Service crew from Tumacacori, making kind of mini adobe bricks with kids on little paper plates that they could then take home. And we were always stationed right in front of the hospital. And every year it struck me, this is fun. The kids enjoy it. The parents get a photo op. But we could actually be engaging the public, kids and adults alike, doing some very, very critically needed basal erosion, wall repair, possibly even what's called a sacrificial cap coat, which is basically a layer of mud across the top of walls that are no longer roofed. Um, and I appreciate uh, Johnny and the city in general kind of finally helping make this happen. It is my hope, I would call it expectation, that I will be assisted, as I have been in years past, by the preservation crew from the National Park Service down at the Tumacacori Mission. Um, we've all done these projects together for a number of years. It's to summarize, um, my experience doing this for a long time is it engages people in a way that really not only raises awareness, but I don't have the right word, perhaps buy-in, almost proprietary. Now, a part of their labor and their experience is keeping those walls up. And that can be a very valuable thing, in addition to the fact that you're doing some work that will help preserve those walls, particularly the ones in the pictures of the proposal we wrote up that are getting pretty close to, a strong gust of wind will take them down, and none of us want to see that. We can do some demonstrating of various techniques like stitching walls or re-anchoring walls at corners that provide structural support. A lot of folks like to come around, many from your neighborhood in years past, and have talked about it. I was interested by your comment, Briggs, about um, a is the property you were referring to off of San Francisco Avenue, and the building was a low kind of shed workshop out of Adobe?
No, it's off of Craycroft. It's what is it? 3036 Craycroft, but the times that it's been open to the public, they've accessed it down the driveway that's immediately west of the commissary, which is to our family home. And then the property, we own the home behind it as well. And there's a historic adobe structure I don't think it was a tie-in with Fort Lowell Day, but it was certainly like a community workshop on come play with Adobe and help this historic structure stay standing.
I remember it. I was part of that group with David Ubetta from Tumacacri and actually have worked on a number of efforts with Demian over the years. So very happy to be coming out and doing this. And again, a big tip of the hat to the city and their historic preservation group for giving us an opportunity to um, play in the mud for the benefit of the resource.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Very well stated. Thank you, Jonathan, as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Any updates from staff on recent and or upcoming minor reviews? Daniel.
There's a little bit of a lull during the holidays, but things are starting to come back alive online. So we will have a minor review of a proposed perimeter wall at 5259 East Fort Lowell. So that will be coming at some point within the next few weeks, to a month. The Donaldson House, they will also be doing a minor review for a new sign. They are required to have a sign from fire department requirement, so that will be coming to you as well.
Fire department?
For
Oh, like exit or something?
yeah. So stay tuned. Please.
Right.
And who for this year will it remain the same? We've been reaching out to Mary Lou, who kind of coordinates the minor review. So I guess I can check in with her, but
Yeah.
there's okay.
Updates, staff updates, future
No.
agenda items.
There updates,
Design
we
guidelines?
gave you, yes, so design guidelines, the last meeting in December, I shared that they have to go to the CDRC, which is the City Design Review Committee. So they did, we received a few comments, very minor. One was from TEP, basically, in relation to the guideline or the standard of, the preference of undergrounding new lines. They asked to have language in there if it's existing and needs to be replaced, then it can be replaced in kind in the same location with the same parameter. So we made that minor update, but other than that, there were no other comments from the CDRC. And so then it currently is with the PTSD director and city manager. So I had to put together a memo to them, and I'm describing the process and how it sits with them. So
Is that the last step? All right.
Good.
almost off my screen.
Oh,
But yeah, they're really
We're gonna make
great.
a lot of modifications.
Yeah, no.
They're really
It's up to the next year.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do we have any motion to adjourn?
No, thank you. You can
Yeah,
just.
no, sure, we're done. Okay, we don't.
We're done.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a nice evening, everyone.
You too.
Yeah, you too.
Great work, David. Good meeting everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Good to see you all.